All right, what's up, guys? We are back with another episode, and this episode we're going to be talking a lot about minor league pickleball because Will actually got to go and compete, and we will have a funny story about how Will got picked to go, but not me. Actually, you know what? We might as well just open with this story.
Okay, yeah.
Why not? So we're at Major League Pickleball, and we're just court hopping, and the stream finally ends on center court. And I'm like, okay, like we've been eyeing this court. As soon as this is
we
over,
had to get a game there. Just to be there.
We immediately run onto the court as soon as they finish their match and like stream's ending. You actually see us on the court for like 5 or 10 seconds dinking or whatever. But so it's me, it's Will, Kyle, and then Graham, who is one of the owners of Florida Smash.
Yep,
and we
Graham
play a
D'Amico.
bunch of games. Yep. And it's me and Will against Graham and Kyle. And I'll be honest, I wasn't having the greatest pickleball day of my life. It was not great. Will had to put me on his back. We'll just say that. But after one of the matches, Graham looks at Will and goes, "Yo, Will, I'm trying to put together a team for minor league pickleball. You want to be on my team?" And I was like, "Bro, I'm standing right here. What about me? You're really going to ask Will and not me?"
It's because he knows you're 3-5 at best. That's probably what it was.
Dude, he had to have known. He had to have known.
Okay,
now,
well, to be fair, he also asked Kyle.
Even worse, he asked 2 of my friends and not me. What the heck? Now, to be completely fair, after seeing a little bit of minor league pickleball and going off my duper and not this 3.5 joke, we'll set that joke aside for a minute. I know that doesn't happen much. A miracle. I have a 4.2 duper. Let's clear the air here. I would have gotten my butt absolutely handed to me if I was on that team, for sure. Like watching the play, I definitely would not have been able to hang. So in all reality, it's good that I didn't get asked. But in the moment, I was like, bruh.
Well, I mean, it was pretty tough. So I didn't know that there was going to be 2 divisions. So there's Duper 20 and then there's Duper 22. And so as you might expect, the teams for Duper 20, your combined dupers can't be more than 20 or more than 20 point something, I guess. And then for Duper 22, it's the same thing. It can't be over Duper 22. And at first I was like, oh man, I want to play in Duper 22 because in the Duper 20 division, if you go to a Dream Breaker, you go to skinny singles. And I was like, I don't want to play skinny singles. Why would I want to?
Oh no, that doesn't do it justice how you felt. When Will was with me and found out he was going to have to play skinny singles, he was pissed. Like he was like, dude, this is so stupid. Why do I have to play skinny singles? Like he was so upset. Like we would just be chilling and it would just like hit him again. And he's like, dude. And I was like, what? And he's like, why do I have to play skinny singles?
Yeah, and then Chris was like, all right, just win all your matches 3-1 and you won't ever have to worry about playing skinny singles. And I was like, I guess that makes sense.
and that's what happened, isn't it?
Yeah, I either won or I lost. And so there was no skinny singles played, thank goodness, because
Dude, you would have done well. Your spin serve would have been so good for it.
True. We'll touch back on the spin serve in a bit. But anyways, so before I was like, okay, I want to play on the Duper 22. So I was going to ask Graham. And then I found out that Anik and Amrik were going to play in Duper 22. And then when I got back home, I asked my buddy Alvaro to get a backup paddle for this event. And he's like, oh man, sorry, Will, I don't have one. And I found out that he was also going to play in minor league pickleball, in the Duper 22 division. I was like, okay, I'm definitely glad I'm not playing in Duper 22. I would have gotten smoked. And my buddy Alvaro is probably, at least from the singles standpoint, probably had the highest Duper. I mean, he beat, Tyson McGuffin and, he's beaten Spencer Smith, Jack Foster. He's pretty much like playing at a pro level. So he was on the Duper 22 and I was like, okay, thank goodness I don't have to mess with these guys. And then when I got to the event, right, I noticed that I knew some of these people that were playing, but some of the Duper 20 teams I just felt like like pretty strong. Like they could have played in the Duper 22, and then there was some teams in the Duper 22 that weren't like as strong, and I think they got mollywashed in that division. It was tough to watch some of them.
Real quick, two things I actually want to talk about. One about that Duper thing, because I had a thought while you were at Minor League Pickleball. But just real quick, for everyone who doesn't know, because I guess the news has kind of been all over on it. So Minor League Pickleball, there's Major League Pickleball, and now there's Minor League Pickleball. Minor League Pickleball is essentially getting more of the amateurs involved. That's more of what Duper 20 is, and then Duper 22 is kind of like the pros that didn't make it into Major League Pickleball. This is kind of their stepping stone to kind of get noticed and maybe drafted into Major League Pickleball. So it's kind of a feeder system to get you into Major League Pickleball. At least that's how I view it right now. So you would kind of move from Duper 20 to Duper 22 and then to Major League Pickleball.
Major League.
Hopefully.
No, I would have to agree. I mean, I asked Brooks and Steve Kuhn and some of the other owners about what they're trying to accomplish with Minor League Pickleball. And most of them are actually not quite sure how it's going to work, but many do see it as somewhat of a D-League or a way to farm players to get them onto their main roster of their main teams. Some, I guess, whispers were also thinking about making the league almost like a relegation league, and relegation is essentially what they do in some of the football leagues in Europe, where if you are in the bottom rungs of a league, your team gets pushed down to relegation and then gets, basically put down into the minor leagues. Essentially, you have to work your way back up, win the championship or whatnot to be put back into the main, like, major league, to fight for the major championships. So they're not sure, I guess, what they're going to do with it or how it's going to work. But this is more or less a beta test. And I think that's why a lot of people didn't hear about it. A lot of people didn't know about it. I mean, before Graham D'Amico asked me to play, you and I, we had no idea what was going on, right? We never heard about Minor League Pickleball.
Oh, no, I knew about it.
You knew about it? What?
I knew about it. I guess you didn't know about
I
it.
didn't know about it. How'd you find out? Where'd you find out about it?
I don't know. I just stay up to date on pickleball news. It's kind of, like my job, and yours, I thought, too. But
apparently not. No, I'm supposed to hear about this stuff from you.
Now, to be fair, I knew about it, but details were still, muddy. I knew that there was Duper 20 and there was Duper 22, but I didn't know, just kind of all the finer details of how things were going to function.
Yeah. And when Graham asked me, he was actually running two teams. He was running, I guess, Florida 20 and Florida Smash 22, and we stayed all the same place. And Graham's a great shout out to Graham. He's actually a great owner. He really cares about the team. He got all of us an Airbnb. He picked up some of us from the airport and got us food and whatnot. I hear that some team owners aren't as, I guess, involved with their teams, but you can tell Graham is really involved with his team, and he's really trying to build a franchise and just take care of his team, which was
your view of Graham would be a little bit different if you were on my side of the bench. I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding. Just in case Graham hears this, just know
he might. I might tell him.
that would be really funny.
I'll put in a good word for you. Next time I see you.
Maybe next year I'll actually be good enough for Duper 20. Maybe.
But when I went there, this was, I'm not going to lie, I was a little nervous. This was the first time I've met any of these guys. I've never played with any of them. My teammates for, Florida Smash 20 was, let me see, it was a guy named Evan Pratt, Paul Piccolo, Edward Perez. I've never met or heard of any of those guys before. I kind of heard of Edward Perez. I think he's played on he's played in the pro bracket a few times here and there. I think he normally goes anywhere from 3 or 4, 4-2, 3-2 in some pro brackets. So he's pretty good. But yeah, I've never played with them, and I didn't know, I was kind of nervous. Okay, and competing in a rally scoring environment, I pretty much played the right side the whole entire time. So basically, I got there Thursday, had one day to kind of practice with them and play with them, and then we essentially competed the next day. And it was cold and windy in Austin, Texas, or in Dripping Springs, Texas. I was like, oh my gosh, it was just, I don't know, it was nerve-wracking for me to be quite honest.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I bet playing with people you've never played with and knowing that, there's like some money on the line, like obviously you're hoping you get recognized. I like to my view of this, and who knows, maybe this was how it was for everyone else, but when you go there, I'd imagine you want to play really well. But I feel like for you, it was kind of, well, I just got asked last minute, so I'm just going to go and, have fun. Obviously, you want to compete well, but it's kind of like I feel like you were probably less focused on actually winning than just like, oh, this is a good experience to have.
Yeah, at first I was definitely thinking like, oh, this is going to be a good experience. I mean, we got to have dinner with Steve Kuhn at Steve Kuhn's place. It was super nice. I've been at the court, like the court that you see in some, I don't know, videos here and there that overlooks like this forest in the city. It looks like it's perched on a cliffside, kind of. Was his place. I was like, oh, this is Steve's place, and I got to meet all the players. Oh, your arch nemesis was there too, the Denim Demon. He was playing in
Can't believe the Denim Demon made it in
22. I
was
could be wrong about that.
Bro, if that guy is playing Duper 22 and he played singles in my 4-0 bracket, get this man out of here.
Okay, maybe not. I have a list of all
Duper
the
20
teams
would
right
make
here.
more sense just based on what I know out of his Duper.
I'm pretty sure he's playing in Duper 20. I don't know how well he did, but I saw him and it was cool. I will say it was really weird because when I got there, I thought there was going to be 2 guys, 2 girls on each team, but there wasn't. It was just open. Like the teams could be genderless essentially. And
I'm glad you brought this up because I actually did want to talk about this.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. What questions did you have about it?
Well, not so much questions, but I guess just thoughts and seeing people's reactions online. So in Major League Pickleball, you have 2 guys and 2 females. So when you play your potential 4 matches against a team, you play women's first, then men's, and then 2 mixed games. So when I heard that Minor League Pickleball was not going to do that,
yeah,
I just thought it was a really interesting decision because in my mind, it was going to potentially mean that you're not going to see many female teams because most teams would probably just opt to have 4 guys, right? Like if you had 3 guys and 1 girl, which there were teams that did that, in those games, the female's going to get heavily targeted. Where now, if you have 4 males, there still might be a weaker guy or whatever that they hit to. Right. But I don't know. I just thought it was a really interesting decision because it potentially leaves out a lot of females.
Yeah, I think they did that because I think because it wasn't really well marketed, the event wasn't really well marketed, that maybe they couldn't field enough women or girls to come play. So they just kind of made it open because they wanted to make sure that they could get teams, right,
Yeah.
to compete and to play. With that being said, though, if you had an all guy team, you clearly had an advantage. And my team, and including the Florida Smash 20 and Florida Smash 22 team, they were all guys, and we took advantage of that. I don't think any of the teams or many of the teams that had women did as well as the all guys team. Some of them came close, but yeah, like you said, the women essentially were being targeted and whatnot, and it could be rough. I will say this though, when Steve Kuhn met all the teams, I know for a fact that if your team had women on them, he was rooting for your team. Like you could see him rooting for, he was like, oh, he would tell, he's like, oh, I'm rooting for your team because you got the girls on your team. So I think they're going to make that requirement moving forward. That was a lot of feedback that we got because
I think so.
I didn't think it was fair either.
And I understand that they're trying to say, based on all the dupers, like it should be even or whatever. And that's, the goal, hopefully in the future. But I have not found it to necessarily match up that way yet. Granted, maybe some of the people I've played, their dupers, maybe they don't have enough matches to be perfectly accurate or whatever. But I just think you need to do it 2 and 2. Otherwise, a lot of like if they did this next year, I think teams this year that did mix it up would probably opt to just go 4 males. And then at that point, like why have a league that's just full of men? Like I think you need to have both.
Exactly. I mean, with that being said, my team, we made it to the semifinals. We did lose to a team that had 1 girl on it. I think it was Dream Dream Team. It was, let's see. No. That's Onyx team. I always get the mix. There were so many teams. I had a tough time keeping up. But it was Jack Monroe's team. Jack Monroe, Joel, Adrian, and then their girl name was Christina. They beat us in the semifinals to get to the finals. And I think that they were the only team in the finals between both divisions that had a girl on their team. And she was really good. She was like, local legend.
Yeah, she looked like she played well when I saw like her play you guys.
Yes, exactly. And I don't think there was any other teams that fielded women that got into the finals. There were some in the semifinals. I think Onyx team, he had a girl. It was Leslie from Austin, Texas. She was like the team captain. But yeah, huge advantage if you had, an all-male team for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. So I definitely hope they fix that next year because I think that'll cause a lot of issues if they do, or at least an uproar.
Yeah, and I know the first day we played, the first match, it was just so windy, it was so cold, hard to get warm, but it was a long day. Woke up at 8, probably didn't finish until like 6. I played 5 games to get out of pools like the first day, and it just felt...
How did you feel your very first match of the day playing? Were you really nervous or no?
Yeah, nervous, cold, stiff. I knew I was jittery, like because I was just getting parched and thirsty. I drink a lot of water, and then I had to go pee like constantly.
Yeah,
I was like, oh
yeah, that's always the worst part of staying hydrated.
Right. And after that, though, and we faced the team that made it to the finals, like the first seed team, called Team Value. I met some of the guys. I think Jaren, I played with him before at Newport, California, really good guy. And then I knew one of the other guys. He played with my buddy Ed at the Duper Waterfall in Newport Beach as well. I can't quite put, I guess, my finger on his name right now. But they made it to the finals, and they beat us 3-1. And then the rest of the day, I think we didn't lose a match. I think we swept or got 3-1. And dude, the spin, I was like, okay, spin serve. I'm spinning it to win it, like the whole entire tournament. And I would say it did some work. Didn't know real aces, but a lot of short returns, and then people who weren't familiar with it. And this is the thing: if I was playing against a girl who didn't know or wasn't used to it, it was pretty much advantageous for us. They had to do a lot of switching and swapping timeouts and like trying to reestablish who the returner was going to be to handle the spin serve.
Yeah. No, I'm glad to hear the spin serve was an advantage. You get to go and end your career of the spin serve out on a bang at Minor League Pickleball.
Yeah, no, people were commenting on it in the comment booth on the final day. Funny thing on the in the comment booth, they didn't know my last name. Nobody knew my last name, so it was just Will, and they would just call me Pickleball Will. And then some people, I heard some people, not in the comment the comment booth, but some people in the stands or whatnot were telling people, hey, his last name is Will. His first name is Pickleball.
And the legend has been born. Will does not have a last name. You've all been calling him by his last name.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
When you address him, Pickleball.
Yes, Pickleball. Yeah, but like the rest of the day, I mean, it was just as hype as if you went to like a regular MLP tournament. I was just feeling the adrenaline pumping. Yeah, the team is amazing. They're just, pumping you up the whole time. But here's the thing, with my team, it was always, they were so hyped. They're all from Florida, right? So they're all friends. They all play with each other and whatnot. And, they're hyping you up, they're pumping you up, and they're just like play aggressive. And I don't think I got into really any dink rallies, at least on the first day at all.
The match that we saw streamed of yours, me and my brothers all noticed that all anyone did was hammer the ball.
Yeah, it was just like, and it was hard to, I guess, slow things down, especially when your teammates are just playing so fast, but it worked out until it didn't, obviously, until we played against Jack Monroe's team, Jack, Joel, and Christina or whatnot. Their hands were just faster, and we would just get wrecked trying to play that fast because sometimes it didn't work. And then plus also when you're nervous though, it's really hard to reset and play soft. At least for me, I was just like, oh my gosh, each time I tried to do it, I would just get wrecked, like smashed on.
No, super hard for sure. Was there much of a turnout for audience?
I mean, no, not really. I would say I definitely didn't look impressive on the stream. There was some people. I mean, most of it was other teams that would just come by and watch for the most part. I wouldn't say it was anything huge, but the energy was still there. It was still really fun to be there and fun to watch for sure.
That's good.
Yeah, especially for the Division, I guess, 22 match and whatnot. I think the Division 22 was a lot more hype. You saw a lot more dinking, a lot more variety over there. So I think a lot more people showed up for that,
Well, if they'd put a 3-5 in this league, there would have been a whole lot of variety. some popped up dinks, some overheads in the net. Man, they really missed out. They missed out.
They missed out having you there just so that people can comment that you're 3-5 at best over on the stream.
Dude, the stream, I'm telling you, the day I get on a stream, let's rephrase that. If I ever get on a stream, it's just gonna light up with 3-5 comments, and whoever has to manage those comments, they're gonna be like, "What?"
Dude, this could be
honestly,
amazing.
they're probably
I'm for it.
by that point, whoever's running that will probably understand the joke, anyways. I was gonna say maybe they won't get the joke, but at this point, I don't know who doesn't. I don't. You've created a monster, Will. Truly,
Yes, I know.
My wife will call me a 3-5 at every. Actually, you know what? We picked her car up from the shop the other day, and we were driving home. We pull up to a light. She pulls up next to me, and she rolls her window down, and I was like, "Oh, what? Like, is something wrong?" So I roll my window down, and I look over, and she's like, "Are you that 3.5 guy from YouTube?" And I was like, "You've gotta be kidding me!" As people on Instagram, they're talking to me, they're asking about paddle recommendations, and they're like, "Dude, you're the best. Thanks. Best 3-5." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh."
Dude, people were asking about you at the event. They're like, "Where's Chris?" And then I was like, "Oh, he's at home. He has to do some other stuff or whatnot. Yeah, he couldn't come by and compete." It's like, "Oh yeah, of course he can't compete. He's 3-5."
So ridiculous. Oh my god. I think it's funny though that I mean, it's because they see us in videos so much together, I'm sure, but it's like people view you and I like joined at the hip, or it's like, wait, where's your other half?
Yeah, no, it's funny. No, it's hilarious. Somebody actually came, I guess, from shout outs to Jeff Lee. He's messaged me a few times on, I guess, on social media, and he actually came through. He was in, I think, northern Austin, which is still like quite a bit of a drive away, like hour 15 or whatever. But he came down just to like check out the event and come find me and meet me, and I thought that was pretty dope. Cool guy.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. Real cool guy.
Nice.
Even and then Alvaro, like when I saw Alvaro would be he'd slowly come up to me and be like, "Oh shoot, is it okay if I come say hi to you, Will? You're kind of a celebrity." Like, he was running that joke throughout the whole entire weekend. I thought it was hilarious.
Oh, that's so funny. Someone came up to me at my local court the other day and they said, Can I get your autograph before you're famous? and then I looked him in the eye and I said, "Before I'm famous, am I not already?" And then I was like, "No, I'm just kidding." This is a guy we hit with all the
guy's ego.
It was a guy we hit with all the time. So it was all just friendly banter, but it was pretty good. But so how, I guess, would you rate your minor league experience overall? Do you think, were there any issues, things you didn't like? I mean, I think there are things they need to fix. Skinny singles, they should get rid of that. That just looks so stupid on a stream. I think I saw a little bit of skinny singles on the stream, and I just turned it off because it's like, I don't want to see this.
Yeah, no, definitely the skinny singles. I think maybe they did because some of the teams that they were fielding were a lot older. You know, Tim Klitsch, the owner of the Ranchers, he played. He played in a Division 20. He set up a Division 20 team, and he played on that team. It was him, and I feel like a bunch of his friends, and they were pretty solid. Yeah, they were pretty solid, but I couldn't imagine
my
Tim.
whole thing is, if this is a feeder, I'm granted they said they don't really know what it's going to be.
Yeah, this is a beta test.
If it's going to feed into Major League, playful singles. I mean, we're talking about at least 5-0, ideally 5-0 level players on a team. If you're 5-0, I think you should play some singles. I don't know.
Yes, no, I would agree. No, I totally agree. I think other than that, the tournament, I felt like it was run pretty well. I had a good time as a competitor. For a first go around, I think it was a great event, and I think this is the most fun I've had competing at an event personally. I would do it again.
Really?
You know? Yeah, I would do it again if Graham invited me back. I don't know if he will invite me back. I don't know. You know, for
Already
his Division
dropped
20
from
team.
your first team.
I mean, I'm happy with my play. I didn't play my best, but I think I was happy with my play. And I mean, my last match like in the semifinals, I think my team was down 2-0, and so I was up, and we had to win this, or we would have just been out. And the score was what, 21-21. I think you were, maybe, I don't remember if you were watching the stream or not, but
Oh, I was definitely watching that one. We just kept sitting there going, Will, close it out. Stop.
okay,
Literally,
so
let me set the stage real quick.
Okay, yeah.
It is a Sunday afternoon,
Yeah.
and me and my family have this tradition that normally we do later, but because all of our schedules are just going to be crazy this year, we decided to do it early. But we always go to the Mall of America, and we do this ornament shopping where we all just like pick out an ornament that like represents the thing we did. That's like, I bought a pickleball ornament or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, you know, we just decorate a tree with it during Christmas. Anyways, I'm in this ornament shop, me and Patrick, shopping for this ornament, both of us with the phone up. And then like one of us looks away to like look at an ornament. The other one goes, and we're like, what happened? So for like the whole time I was shopping, we're staring at our phone.
That's so funny. So you're watching on your phone. No, man, I was super tense. And I mean, in that match, I think I felt like we were up by like 6-7 points at one time. And because the spin serve was doing work, I was serving it to Christina, the one girl on their team. And because she couldn't handle it, they would, you know, use their timeouts and swap receivers and whatnot, so she wouldn't have to handle it. And
now, did you guys ever think, okay, they're taking a timeout and they're probably going to switch? Should we just switch to like counter switch?
Yes. So here's the thing, because the rules weren't clear with that. I think because if we're allowed to switch on their timeout as well, but then it becomes like, okay, are you going to switch or you're not going to switch? So what's supposed to happen is that the ref is supposed to ask the serving team first, like, choose your positions. And so we have to make the decision first, like, because we don't know if they're going to switch or not, right?
Yeah.
They could just call a regular timeout and not switch. So we have no idea. But we wanted to wait and see if they swapped. If they swapped, then we would. But, you know, then it defeats the purpose of having a timeout to switch, because, you know, you could just counter what the other person is doing. So the ref was supposed to ask us our positions first, but they didn't do that. And then, like, you can tell in the stream, there was some chatter back and forth about, you know, the rules and whatnot. And finally, me and my team, we decided to let it go. We just wanted to keep on playing. We didn't want to do this, you know, dance back and forth. So we decided just to stay. And I said, hey, we'll just stay. And if we want to switch, you know, we'll do it on our timeout. No big deal. We just kind of wanted to keep the game going because I was kind of on a hot streak. I was on a roll. Like, you know, I didn't want to lose the momentum. But I don't know, we lost the momentum anyways. And basically for the rest of the match, I essentially had to serve it to Joel, the male player, and he was quite good. He could handle it like no problem. And I think this just kind of goes to show you with the spin serve, if you know it, if you've seen it and you can handle it, like nobody really has any problems. It's only if it's like your first time, you know, not seeing it. But he returned it usually no problem. Were they strong returns? No. But, you know, I thought he countered it pretty well. I mean, they caught up and the score essentially became 21-21. And I got the ball back and I'm serving it back to him. And I've been serving him out wide to his forehand, to his right side, the whole entire game. And on this last point, I was like, okay, I'm nervous. I'm sick and tired of this. I'm going to switch it up. So I decide to spin it, but not spin it as hard. And I just hit one down the tee, like straight in the middle. And I think that threw him off and it got a weak return from him. And I said, if this ball is coming anywhere near me, I'm ripping a forehand like straight down the middle. And that's what I did. And I got a clean winner. And I think I yelled as like hard as I could. Like I don't think I've yelled that hard in a very long time.
I can't remember, was that the game winning point?
Yeah, that was the game winning point. That's why it was epic for me.
That's epic. That's pretty sick.
Yeah. I was like, yeah. So I don't know. I was pretty pumped after that, not gonna lie. And after that, I thought that was a good way to seal off my personal performance for the event, you know? Yeah.
No, I mean, making it to the semifinals with people you've never met for an event that you got invited to last minute that you didn't really get to train for or anything.
Yeah.
That's sick. Like
Yeah.
that's no joke.
I will say, like, I wish I practiced more. I wish I knew more of the rules about the timeouts and who, gets to call their positions first. And then also practice, I guess, switching or stacking as well, because I was so nervous. I wasn't thinking. You remember that first time we talked about a previous episode about tournaments and I didn't use timeouts, when I'm losing? That's what it felt like. I couldn't think straight. When we started doing some switching and we had to stack, I was lost. You can check on the stream. I'm like, I don't know where the heck I'm going.
See, it's funny that the stack, I mean, I'm assuming, obviously you know how to stack, but
yeah.
I'm sure it's not something you do often, and I don't know if you've really had to do it in a tournament setting, but just with how well you know pickleball, I'm surprised it threw you off at all.
Yeah, no, it threw me off because really I'm just worried about me playing, I guess, perform my best and not messing up, And then there was a few matches where me and my partner, Paul Piccolo, we weren't doing so well. Like we were just, banging away, right? And it was working before. We're playing really aggressive. But we met a team that, that it didn't work on. And that was the same team, Jack Monroe's team. And it was tough. And in the back of my mind, I was thinking like we should probably switch, but I didn't say anything because I wasn't really thinking. And also, I don't know these guys nearly as well. Not that I had any problems with them. I really like all those guys right there, but it was just one of those things. Like I wasn't strategically thinking, and I feel like it could have changed things if we did do a switch just to change it up a bit. If things aren't working. But I mean, that's an experience thing. Lessons learned. Type of thing.
You know what we do next year?
What?
We get me, you, Kyle, and Shay drafted, and our team name is #influencers.
Okay, I like that.
That would be sick. 4 content creators on one team.
Influencers in the wild.
That would be amazing.
Well, we can't do that. We can't do that unless we have unless they make it 2 guys, 2 girls. So they make it 2 guys, 2 girls. We can't do that.
Oh, true. I forgot.
It's okay. It's okay. I'll wear a wig.
All right, we can. I don't know. We can find 2 other female content creators. That won't be hard. We'll take our pick. So we're starting the drafting process now.
Okay, get Caitlin.
Caitlin only gets on our team if Caitlin promises to draft us into Major League Pickleball. That's how that's going to work.
Well, Caitlin will probably draft her own minor league team, probably, if anything.
All right, in that case, Caitlin,
well, she can draft
we're accepting offers. We're starting the bidding at $10K.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, that was pretty much my minor league experience. I mean, there's some other big news that happened, during minor league. Did you want to go into them?
Oh yeah. I mean, I don't know. I know which one I want to start with. What are you going to start with? Exciting one. Well, which one do you think I'm going to pick? Let's go with that.
You're going to talk about Vibe.
No, Travis.
No? You're going to Travis? Okay.
Travis is way more exciting. More exciting.
All right. Go set the stage.
Let's talk about
set
this.
The stage.
Okay.
Travis
so
Rettenmeyer.
Major League, yes, Travis Rettenmeyer, who is a team owner of Florida Smash, or co-owner of it with Graham, which is the team that Will played for. He plays on his own team in Major League Pickleball. He was a former pro tennis player. I actually didn't know this until today.
Yeah, didn't he play at UCLA?
That I don't know, but he was ATP 57 on the pro tour, and that's
doubles.
Oh, it was doubles? Okay, I didn't know it was doubles.
I mean, that's still impressive.
No, that's still amazing. Like, that's super high ranking. But what I think is interesting about that is everyone keeps talking about, like, oh, like, we need these high, what would it be like if a high-level tennis player joined? And now it's kind of, well, we have one. Granted, it's sounds like he stopped tennis a while ago and then came into pickleball. But, so, it's not like he came straight from tennis into pickleball. But whatever. Still have a very high-level athlete, clearly. Yeah. And he's not just dominating the game yet. So I think that is an interesting thing to say about tennis players coming in. He is doing good, but he's not dominating. Anyways, all that background aside, at Major League Pickleball, NML, if you guys don't know who NML Pickleball is, they are a blog, formerly anonymous. Now I believe people know who they are. They used to write a lot of stuff. I guess people would view it as talking a lot of trash. So there's a lot of things,
blog posts like on site, of the happenings at tournaments and events, and amongst other things.
Yeah, but it was typically not just like your coverage was like, here's what happened. It was, here's what happened and here's why we think this. And usually there was kind of like a hot take involved. Anyways, they've been a controversial-ish blog, say whatever you want. They do their thing. During Major League Pickleball, they wrote an article that I think kind of roasted Travis a little bit for his mixed performance. And he basically fired back and said, dude, I won the last 4 points of my Dream Breaker. You want to talk about that? And then they had, a few little back and forths talking some trash. And then Travis said, you know what? I'll play you guys 2-on-1, and I bet you $100,000 that I will beat you guys.
Yeah.
And they didn't respond during Major League Pickleball, but during Minor League Pickleball, they did respond, and they said, all right, we'll play for $100K. Where do you want to play?
Did Travis accept?
And Travis accepted immediately. So I didn't see that. It took me a while to find out that Travis accepted. I was talking to people, and I said, there's no shot he accepts this. From what I have heard from people who know the guys at NML, they're either 4-5s or 5-0s, probably closer to 5-0 from what it sounds like. And I just thought, dang, like 2 5-0s versus a pro singles player, that would be really hard. I'm not going to say it's impossible. We've seen, I think Johnson Cola did a video playing against 2 4-5s, and I can't remember if he won or not. I don't think I made it to the end of the video, but I think 4-5s probably doable. 5-0s, that's really hard, I think.
I mean, hey, I beat you and your brother last time I was in Minneapolis.
Okay.
Shoot,
We're blaming that all on my brother. If I had the other brother, we won that for sure.
Oh, we should have done it. Next time I come up.
No, we'll do it the next time you're here.
Right,
you're gonna get pickled.
You and Pat versus me. That'll be hilarious.
What are we gonna put on the line here? I don't got $100K to put up, but I could put up a few chicken McNuggets.
Okay.
But anyways, I was baffled that Travis accepted this match for $100K. That's more money than any other pickleball thing ever for a single person. I mean, obviously MLP does $100K, but it's split 4 ways. Now this is either split 2 ways or 1 way.
Yeah, NML probably didn't respond as quickly because they probably needed to gather the funds to make sure that they could put
that's
on,
what I
on the
heard.
line.
Is it sounded like initially they did not have funds. And now they found some interesting ways to get the funds. But I mean, what's your take on this whole thing?
Oh man, well, since I was with pretty much all the Florida Smash peeps, during the weekend, I asked them like what their thoughts were. And maybe they're a little biased, obviously, but they're all saying, dude, Travis is a beast. Like they're not going to beat him. He does 2 versus 1s all the time, and he comes out on top. And I believe them, seeing Travis's background, but also, I don't know how easy it's going to be, but also I don't know. Obviously I've seen Travis play, but I don't know anything about the NML guys, but I also think this is kind of a calculated decision on Travis' part just to spark some drama and some newsworthy, notable events in the pickleball space, and to get some publicity for Florida Smash, for him and Florida Smash, so
I mean, I think for both NML too.
For both. I think whoever loses 100K, maybe that sucks, but I just feel like it's a win-win for
probably hurts Travis
pickleball
less than it hurts NML.
Yeah, probably. But I heard they're going to do it in St. Petersburg, Florida. I asked Graham, and Graham said if we want to go, like, we can stay at his place and we can go down there and film it or whatnot. So if you're down, I'm down. Let's go.
Dude, it would have been sick if I wasn't filming another wedding.
Oh my gosh.
I said I would never film another wedding again, except this one is for like one of my best friends. So I was like, I got to do it. So like I told you, even if I wasn't filming it, I'd still just be attending it. But I mean, you could still go and make something sick. That's for sure.
Yeah. I'm probably still going to go. At the very least go. And
are they going to cover your flight?
I have no idea. I haven't really talked about it just yet. I know I definitely have a place to stay, but at the very least, I think I want to go just to be there in person and just at least record the match or whatnot. I don't know how much effort I want to put into, maybe even commentating over it or whatnot. But I told Graham and the rest of the Florida guys, I was like, it'd be funny if you had the 100K in a briefcase, just like sitting at the court, and then you have Austin. I can't pronounce it. Like Austin what's it called? Chikatalov, who won the next gen or whatever. I met him. He was on the Duper 22, and
Dude's
his
jacked. For those of you who don't know.
Yeah, his nickname is the Amazon, and they're all joking around like, yo, you should have him just shirtless with the spear standing next to the briefcase with the pickleball paddle, like, taped up on the top of it. And if anybody got around the money, he'd be like, Holt.
The dude's got negative body fat. I mean, there's no fat on that man's body. It's just unreal. But here's an interesting thing I just thought about. So you and Kyle, both 5-0 singles players, played against James Ignatowicz, and he would sometimes beat you. So now that I think about it, maybe Travis actually does have a decent shot at winning this.
Yeah, he definitely does have a decent shot at
that definitely makes me more optimistic. I don't know for sure, but I'm assuming James would be the better singles player than Travis. But still, if he was able to get some games off you guys, that is definitely an interesting thought. Either way, I'm absurdly excited for this. I think, in my opinion, this is one of the most exciting things to happen in pickleball. If they live stream this, there is zero shot this is not the most viewed pickleball stream that has ever been done.
Yeah, I just want to mic them up.
Mic them up. You gotta have them mic'd up for the stream. If they don't mic them up for the stream, that's like
a huge miss.
I don't even know what they're thinking. Like the pickleball. Whatever. The pickleball's whatever. Travis said he's going to talk so much trash.
Yeah.
We all want to hear that. I want to hear the chirping. Like, oh, man, I don't know.
They might get Boxcar to stream it, like the Boxcar who does all the streaming for like MLP and whatnot. I think there was talks to have.
If you get Boxcar involved, this thing's going to be huge.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm excited for it as well. And
they have about a month and a half to get this whole thing sorted out. So... Yep. Hopefully they get on it and do some good publicity. I think Florida's a good spot for it. How you think people, besides you, we'll take you out of the equation because you're different. You think other people will fly for this?
Yeah, probably. I think some people will fly for it.
I think a couple will. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a lot, but I think some will.
I mean, if they turn it to an actual like event and they got an actual nice venue or whatnot and some seats or whatnot, then I think people would go. This is like YouTube boxing matches, but for pickleball. Exactly. Yes.
It's like you're not gonna see amazing pickleball. I mean, you'll see some good pickleball. 1-on-2 is like cool, but you're really just showing up because you want to know who the heck is walking away with $100K and who actually ran their mouth properly. Who was right in all this?
Because all the stakes are high. Yeah, when the stakes are that high, then it's bound to be. It's bound to be good, Some people are going to be nervous. Some people are going to be just, I don't know. There's going to be emotions be flying left and right for sure.
Well, Travis sounded super confident. He basically sounded.
I'm telling you, that's how they told me. The Florida Smash people, they all told me that's how he trains. He does that like every other day, and he puts money on the line, like just like, all right, yeah, I'll bet you $100, you two versus me or whatever, double or nothing. That's what he does. That's how he trains.
No wonder he's not worried. He's been building up for this.
Yeah, exactly. And you see when he posted it on his Instagram and his social media, some other pros were commenting. Like I think Wes Burrows commented, Kyle Yates commented, like, dude, Kyle, like Travis is gonna take it, because they've seen it. And
I wonder if NML's nervous. I want to know what they're thinking. Because it's if I don't know Travis's financial situation, but if he played that high level of tennis, I assume he's not hurting for money necessarily.
Well, I mean, he's a co-owner
NML
of
just
Florida
sounds
Smash.
like that too. NML just sounds like some random guys running a blog, like me with this podcast and you. Can you imagine us putting up $100K?
Nah,
I can't.
Nah, I couldn't do it. Not yet, at least. We might one day. You'll see.
I mean, dude, imagine a content creator match where we put up $100,000.
Dude, that would be sick. No, we're gonna eventually do it. One time when we play our biannual play, where you and I face each other, eventually it's gonna get to that
$100,000 on the match. Yes. Oh, that'd be crazy.
Yes, for sure. And I'm still gonna tell you 3-5 after you're done.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've just accepted it as part of the brand now. I'm trying to think, how do I integrate this more? Because you guys have made it just a part of my life so much that I just need to embrace it. Like, I want to make a short video, a reel, a TikTok, whatever. I don't know what it would be. Something about what is a day in the life of me. It's like you get out of bed, wake up to a text from Will, good morning, 3.5 at best. And then it's like I go to the mirror and it's like a note from my wife and it's like, love you, 3.5 or best. It's not like everywhere I go, there's a note.
I can't believe your wife actually did that. That would crack me up.
Dude, okay, here's one other story. We've talked about this whole 3.5 at best thing a lot, but one other story. So I got invited to this private event happening at one of our new pickleball facilities, and it's 4-0
Another one?
and up.
Jeez.
Yeah,
So
I know.
many
We got
in
facilities
Minneapolis.
out the wazoo over here. It's amazing. If you guys ever come to Minnesota, we have like good pickleball and good facilities over here. It's kind of ridiculous. You wouldn't think Minnesota would have it, but we do. So anyways, I get invited to this thing, and the guy who is setting the whole thing up, he commented on my Swift review today, and he said, your reviews are really a compliment to pickleball. Like, we really appreciate it. But your spin serve, not so much. And so I replied and I said, I've never played this guy. We've chatted online, but he lives a little further away. So this will be the first time I meet him at this event. And I said,
Yeah.
oh, don't worry. I'll make sure you get to experience that spin serve before it's banned at the end of the year. He also just came off a knee surgery. And
Yeah.
I said, hope my spin serve doesn't put you back in for another knee surgery.
Oh.
And then he said, oh, it's funny. I see that your invite doesn't exist anymore. This is actually an event for 4-0s, not 3-5s. I was like, oh, okay, I deserved that. I should have seen that one coming from a mile away. So, if you guys think this ever escapes me, it doesn't. I hear it every day.
I'll remind you.
All right. Well, moving on, I guess we'll cover the next thing, which is Vibe Pickleball.
Have you I guess researched into it? The only thing I've heard about it is that it is the PPA and Tom Dundon's answer to MLP, which is it's essentially another team event, essentially for the PPA players. But I heard it was open to everyone. Is that correct?
Well, I don't know. So basically, this Vibe Pickleball page pops up out of nowhere. And all the posts that start popping up, there's literally zero details. But the first post was, I'm just going to make up a player's name. It might not have actually been the first one, but it said, Catherine Parento submits her name for the 2023 Pickleball Vibe Draft. And that's all it says.
I heard that it was J.W. Johnson and Dylan Frazier.
Yes, they also, after a bunch of the other ones got announced, all the PPA ones that you expect, out of nowhere, you see JW and Dylan, and you go, wait, but MLP, APP, so it makes you wonder, are they going to be playing PPA in the future? Or are they letting this open for everyone? If it's open for everyone, why have we not seen other big names from APP yet? Were they asked and they declined? We have so little information about anything with Vibe that we're all just kind of wondering, is it going to be the same format as MLP? We're all just assuming it's a competitor to it because they're talking about submitting their name for a draft.
Right. So, well, I heard, rumor has, I heard from somebody, I can neither confirm nor deny this rumor, that Tom Dundon, I guess, gave out an olive branch to Steve Kuhn to keep it open to let some of the MLP players also openly play in the Vibe League. And I don't know what Steve Kuhn's response was, if he said yes or no, or he would let their players, but it might look kind of bad if Steve Kuhn made it seem that, if you play MLP, you can't play in the Vibe League. And I don't know how I feel about that.
But you already know, right? Because PPA has done this in the past. There's no shot they don't try and schedule the events for the same time as MLP.
Yes,
so people
exactly.
Can't. Right? Like, that's has to be what's going to happen.
Right. No, that's definitely what's going to happen. So people are going to have to pick and choose. And it sucks because, Tom Dundon and the PPA and the Vibe League, they're making it seem like they're open, but really they're just, insinuating war again, right, because they're the one that closed things off. So they're trying to make the MLP look bad by basically forcing the MLP's hand by saying, hey, you can't play at, in the Vibe League. But I mean, obviously this news hasn't been confirmed or denied. Like no one knows if that's the decision that MLP is going to make or that they're going to do to keep their players from playing in the Vibe League. But if it was, let's just say, like you said, if it was all open, you can play in both leagues, right? Then you're going to have to pick and choose. Obviously, the PPA players can't play in MLP, but they can only play in the Vibe. So this creates a conundrum for the, players that aren't signed with PPA because now they have a decision to make and, see what they're going to do.
Well, and it makes me wonder, is it going to be fully open? Can anyone submit? Because, again, we haven't seen other names pop up yet. Granted, I'm sure there's much more information to be had here, but I don't know. I have a lot of questions, and I'll hold off judgment until there's an actual announcement, but my initial gut response is mostly just annoyed with Vibe League. One, the name is kind of just stupid to me. I don't know. Maybe I'll change my mind, but just Vibe Pickleball, like,
yeah,
that's it. That's the best you had. The logo, I don't know. It just doesn't feel
polished,
very professional or polished. Feels like it was kind of slapped together last minute. And then I'm just annoyed because we're gonna have 4 big things now. We're gonna have PPA, APP, MLP, and Vibe, and then we have the players split up in more places again. It just, I don't know. The whole thing, I'm already annoyed.
The war is going to continue
right now. Yeah, the war is going to continue, and I feel as a consumer of pickleball, it's just annoying. I don't know what other people, the general consensus is, but you've got PPA and APP almost always on the same weekend. Which one are you watching? And then just, I don't know. It's just annoying to me.
Yeah, no, I agree. Right now, it's annoying, but I don't know if I'm curious to see what further announcements happen with the Vibe. Aren't they coming out something official soon?
Yeah, tomorrow, I think.
Oh, tomorrow. I think we're recording this podcast tomorrow. Okay.
So we may, depending on what the announcement is, you'll either hear us re-record this section or you won't. We'll find out tomorrow. All right, so at the time of editing this podcast episode, the only update that ended up coming out was that Mark Cuban is an owner of one of the teams, and there's going to be 6 teams for this year's draft. So we're still waiting on a lot of information, but that's what ended up getting announced after we recorded this episode.
Oh, man, so annoying. It's funny because when it was announced, I was hanging out with the rest of the Florida Smash people and Graham, and then Graham said, "Hey, I just got to follow. Like the Vibe League just followed me," and I was like, "Oh, hey, they're trying to get you on board." Yeah, I mean,
oh man, it's gonna be interesting.
Okay, well, what do you think about the news that JW and Dylan Frazier signed on with Vibe? Do you think that means that they're leaving MLP? Do you think?
I mean, it raises a whole ton of questions. Are they switching to PPA? Kind of doubt it.
Nah.
From what I feel I've heard, I mean, especially when, Dylan and JW are kind of topping APP ranks and you get stipends for that and yada, yada. So I feel like they're probably still a loose or free agent, essentially. And I don't think they would sign anything exclusive. But it makes you wonder, is Vibe just going to have more money? I feel like this is going to come down to money. What it's going to come down to.
So fun little interesting tidbit I heard from a few of the higher pros that I met over during MLP was that nothing new, right? Not new news, but non-signed PPA players really do get treated like trash at PPA events. Like even if you're a pro.
I totally believe that.
Yeah,
I mean, I haven't heard it confirmed, but I've heard enough things.
Yeah, I heard you couldn't even shower if you were competing in the pro bracket. Like after you're done or whatnot, like you're not even allowed to use like some of the showers or the facilities or whatnot. Like it's kind of crazy. You can't get any snacks, nothing. Like just absolutely nothing.
See, I get it to an extent, right? You want to incentivize people to play, but there's also just basic things you do because you want to be a good person. I don't know. I understand they're a business. They're trying to make money. That's different. But
yeah,
it makes it feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. It feels bad. Like why? I don't know. There's a lot to think about in that. If I look at it from a business perspective, I understand it. When I look at it from the perspective of just a normal person, I go, the PPA just seems like a bully.
Yes. I would agree with you on that point for sure. And I don't know, do you think, I guess you probably right now are assuming or feeling that the Vibe League is just another way to try and, I guess, bully the industry at large into doing what they want?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, they clearly see the success of MLP, and I'm sure PPA has gotten bullied by the pros a little bit, saying, "Dude, this is the biggest event of the year with the most amount of money on the line for a weekend, and you're telling us we can't play it?" I'm sure they're all saying, "Figure something out, or we don't want to be here."
So you think that
or
the
I'm sure a
players
lot
push
of
their
them.
hands? Yeah. No, I would agree.
For sure, Tyson even kind of shared his frustrations that he can't play MLP. So there's no way he hasn't been saying, "Come on, guys, get your act together."
Yeah. It doesn't, I don't know. I just would have thought PPA would let their players play at MLP. I wonder how
could have
that
sworn,
conversation.
I could be wrong. I might be misremembering this, but I swear people have been saying it even recently that PPA said they were going to let people play MLP because their whole thing, the contracts are weird. I know it depends if you're a 1 year or a 3 year, but I thought it was, you could play an allotment of events, and I thought there was an exception for MLP. So I wonder if there was anything where people thought they were going to get to play and then kind of got duped. I have no idea if that's fact or not. No one quote me on that. This is just what I thought I remember hearing. So if that's the case, that's dodgy.
Yeah. I mean, MLP is not going, I don't know. Do you think MLP is going anywhere?
No.
No.
I mean, you got LeBron, Tom Brady, Kim Clay. Like, how could you go anywhere? They're going to have to fire back with even bigger names.
Whoa, I didn't even think about that. Like, who are the potential owners for the Vibe League?
I think
we don't know how it
NML
works.
wrote something about possibly. I can't remember the article. I hate partially quoting things that I can't remember, but I thought they were saying something about Mark Cuban possibly being involved, and that's deep pockets
huge.
right there. That's pretty big. He's just bringing all the Shark Tank on over to... Dude, imagine how funny would it be if there was an episode of Shark Tank where whoever, like Tom Dundon or someone walks in is like, Vibe Pickleball.
I mean, Tom Dundon wouldn't need to pitch it to Shark. He'd probably just call them over the phone. Like, all right, hey guys.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're probably right. But yeah, I definitely think that they're trying to, kind of corner the industry. They want to control more of it because I think they see the potential. MLP, you obviously enjoyed the minor league stuff. We went to MLP, loved it as a consumer, and I think they're probably feeling that pressure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you think about competing at PPA events versus other events? I for whatever reason, I don't know. I've had good experience at PPA events, but I mean, based off what I've heard on some dicey posts from, I guess it was PPA Las Vegas, that it wasn't run very well. And I just get the pulse and the feeling that a lot of players don't like competing at PPA events. They just don't care about the players who go to play. They only care about the pros who go compete at their events, but they don't care much about the person that's looking to go play and compete. And I feel like the APP is, I don't know, I feel like it's better for that. If you're looking to compete, I feel like the APP is better. Just my kind of thoughts.
I've seen the same things. I saw all the complaints about Las Vegas. I see complaints about PPA tournaments all the time. And I think as a consumer or as a competitor who's an amateur, you should not be surprised. It should not be news to you at this point that the PPA doesn't really care about you. I feel that even last year when I was newer to pickleball and kind of discovering PPA and went to my first one, I knew that my entry fee was there to pay the pros, right? I'm going because, I want to try and win something and say I won something at a PPA event, but really they probably couldn't care less about me. Now, APP, when I've gone, I do feel that they care a lot about the amateurs and they try to give a really great experience. I mean, I've watched all the volunteers, how hard they work. Not to say that the volunteers of the PPA don't work hard. I'm sure the people who volunteer at PPA do care, but the higher ups, you get the vibe that they don't. Where I've talked to Ken Herman, and I'm just a random guy. He doesn't even really know who I am, but I've talked to him several times, and I get the feeling that he cares, whether it's an act that he kind of knows he has to put on because it makes them look better. I don't know. I don't personally believe that. Ken seems like a very nice guy, and I've only had good experiences at APP. But what I will say is I've definitely seen negative things about APP tournaments as well. So sometimes it makes me wonder if it just depends where the tournament was. Maybe it was a bad venue and some bad circumstances. But I don't know. I do think I hear about the PPA having more issues.
Yeah, well, we'll see. I mean, I can't wait to hear. Honestly, as crazy as it sounds, I'm still kind of excited to hear more about this vibe thing, to see like what it entails, what it looks like, what the prize money is going to look like.
Yeah.
How it's going to shake things up, because I don't know. It's kind of exciting when things kind of get shaken up a little bit. I mean, that's just me though.
I mean, I think I'm excited for the announcement just to know what's going on, but I don't know. I have this view of the PPA being more of the bully. I think a lot of people have that view. Whether it's fair or not is hard to say, but that it just puts a negative view of vibe in my mind when I already think of them as more of a bully. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, they're just trying to become the premier league. That's what it just seems like. Everything that they do, they're trying to be, the top dog. I think there's room for the others to exist, but right now they haven't, I think, grown or taken enough market share to be considered the Premier League, at least not just yet. And they're working towards that, but so is, MLP, APP. So, we'll see.
And I don't know. It clearly, I haven't seen a PPA player get signed in a while. Maybe they picked up all that they wanted, and now they don't mind. Who knows? Maybe they're courting people behind. I'm sure they're courting people behind the scenes to try and get them on. But PPA is definitely starting to not have all the top players. You've got Paris Todd, you've got JW, you've got Deckel, Zane. Like, you've got other top pros. Now you can maybe make some comparisons. Are they better than what the PPA has? Who knows? But I wonder what you think about this. PPA feels very top heavy, but also very bottom heavy.
When you mean bottom heavy, you mean
they have players signed.
Yeah.
Well, maybe that would be the way. If I'm understanding how you're saying that correctly, maybe that would be the way to view it. But it's like they have some signed players that you go, why is this person signed? Like, there's a more average person at the APP that would be better than this. I don't want to say any names, but there are definitely some people that I go, how or why did this one get signed?
I see. Yeah, I would kind of agree with that. At least at this point in time, right now, I think it's just because there's so many new players, hopping up on the scene, and I feel like you see them at the APP, they go to the APP more, and I don't know, Tom Dundon and the PPA, they don't have infinite amounts of money. They probably want to save their biggest cash book for, I guess, more top players.
Well, that's what I mean. Why some of their signed players, why did you pay them instead of... Now, I have no idea if they didn't try to sign some of these players
they
JW
must have.
or Zane. I'm sure they had to have, and they probably got turned down, but just makes you go, you picked a few interesting people. To put it bluntly, feels like you wasted your money.
Okay. all right.
That's really blunt, but that's the simplest way to put it.
Yeah. Agreed. Well, I mean, haven't looked at that list extensively, but when I think of PPA, I only think of the top players that play in the PPA, but everybody else I just feel like plays in the APP. That's just kind of how I see it.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Lots of interesting things. I think we're going to get some more interesting news shakeups. Pickleball is continuing to evolve at an unreal pace. Basically, I think there was a post today. It was MLP's 1-year birthday. And the day after MLP's 1-year birthday, what comes out? The competing league for MLP. So, you can't predict anything in pickleball. Anyone who thinks they can make a prediction about pickleball even a year from now, I don't know. I don't think you can.
There's so much stuff that's going to happen. No, we're going to be back here. We're going to be talking about something crazy in the next weeks to follow, I'm sure.
Who knows? Maybe next year we'll be sitting here going, dude, MLP is dead. I hope that's not the case, but that's how crazy pickleball is to me, where you just have no idea what's going on.
True that.
So, I don't know. But yeah, I think that just about covers everything for this episode, unless you got something else you want to chat about.
Nope, that's all.
Sweet. Well, thanks to everyone who tuned in. If you guys enjoyed the podcast and you wouldn't mind leaving us a rating on Spotify or iTunes, it does help the podcast quite a bit, and we massively appreciate it. I would also appreciate it if you didn't give us 3.5 stars because of me.
I didn't even think about that, but that's hilarious.
I actually probably shouldn't have said that because
No,
I
now
feel like
you're-
that's going to give people ideas. We have a clean streak of 5 stars on Spotify right now. Thank you again to everyone who
Yes.
has given us a 5-star rating. Genuinely appreciate it. I am sometimes surprised we are at 5 stars. I just figured there's got to be someone out there who thinks my voice is the most annoying thing they've ever heard or something. I don't know.
Me.
yeah, you.
Me.
Well, please don't be the reason we lose our 5-star rating.
No,
that
never.
would be really unfortunate. But anyways, thanks everyone for tuning in, and we'll see you guys in the next episode.
See ya.